What if Deku had the Omnitrix power? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Nothing But Anime. We're continuing our What If Deku Had the Omnitrix's Power series with part 7th. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest videos. Let's get started. Let's go. Diamond Head shouted as he charges to Bakugo. Bakugo got up and charged to Izuku. You never learn, do you bastard? Bakugo yelled as he lets a big explosion to Izuku. Ha! So much for you. Bakugo thought he hit Izuku and took him out, but he was interrupted by a hard punch to the face. Bakugo rolled onto the ground until he hit his back on the same wall where he was originally. He looks up and wipes his mouth. He looked down when he felt something wet. He saw blood and saw that blood was coming from his mouth. Seriously, I've known you my whole life and that's the best move you could give. Wow, good job. Bakugo looked up and saw that Izuku unscratched by the attack. I'll kill you. Bakugo growled out loud as he started to get back up and, so unoriginal. You seriously need to change your threat list, Diamond Head said, teasing Bakugo. Bakugo was shaking in anger that his attack had no effect on Izuku and was about to do a different approach when, Bakugo, come in. Give me a status report. Where are you? Ida called through an earpiece on Bakugo's ear. Bakugo went to the earpiece and talked. Just shut up and defend the weapon. Bakugo yelled to Ida. I've got more important to deal with. Are you forgetting what our mission is? Ida asked before he heard the call cut. Hello? Hello? He hung up on me. This isn't the time for radio silence. We're supposed to be partners. Ida shouted in frustration on Bakugo's attitude to the task. In the monitoring room. Hey, who's Bakugo talking to? And why can't we hear anything? Isn't there any sound in this video? Kirishima asked. The students saw that Bakugo was clearly talking to someone but they couldn't hear a thing from the video. Oh, I gave each of them a radio so they can talk to their partners along with a map to the building. At least a roll of capture tape. Warping this around your opponent means that they're capture and is out of the rest of the game. I wanted to give young Midoriya's his own but I decided not to, All Might said, confusing the students. And why's that? Zero asked. I think he can stop and capture his opponent without one since his quirk is unpredictable. He might even try something with the one he's in now, All Might said. Oh yeah, his quirk is strong. He's gotta have something that can stop Bakugo, Kaminari said as he and the other students realized the logic behind All Might's chose. A Petrosapian nice chose Midori. Bakugo will have a hard time beating you with your body. But I thought that the Petrosapians were destroyed. How'd the Omnitrix get it? Mina thought as she notices something with the test. But wait, there's a 15-minute time limit and the heroes don't even know where the explosive even is, Mina said. That's right, All Might said. So that means that the heroes are at a huge disadvantage here, Mina said. Ha! Real heroes have to outwit villains on our day-to-day lives. That's the life of a hero, even when the odds are against us. We fight, All Might said as the students felt inspired by the speech. Now all together, All Might yelled with the students following him. Plus Ultra. Everyone yelled the school's motto. Aoyama notices something on the screen. Sir, he's on the move, Aoyama said as everyone turned back to the screen. Back with Izuku and Bakugo. Bakugo took out the earpiece and blew it up in his hand. Deku, Bakugo said as he moves his hands behind him. Just die. Bakugo as he blasted towards Izuku. Seriously? I thought you would do something else, Diamond Head said as Bakugo blasted an explosion to Izuku. Izuku raised his arm to tank the explosion and raised the other one. Suddenly, crystals shot out of Diamond Head's fist and fired at Bakugo. Bakugo used his explosions to redirect himself as the crystals flew past him. Most missed him but a few hit him as two cut his left leg and one was stuck in one of his grenades that was on his arm. Bakugo fell to the ground and grabbed his cut leg. Ah, you'll pay for that, Deku, Bakugo said as he turns to Izuku. Yeah, no. I wish you luck though, Izuku said. Luck? For what? Bakugo yelled in confusion. For this, Diamond Head yelled as he smashes his fist down to the ground and a wall of crystal shot up and closing the way Izuku was in. Bakugo heard something behind him and turns to see the crystals from that attack from before started growing and closing off the other route. Bakugo now realized that Deku trapped him in a crystal-made trap. I said that I wish you luck breaking out of that since that stuff is nearly indestructible, Diamond Head said as he started to walk away. He ignored the angry shouting that slightly could be heard in the crystal trap. Alright, let's check on the ladies, Izuku said as he puts 2 fingers on his head where he felt the earpiece was on. Hello guys, you there? Izzy, is that you? Izuku heard Lucy's voice talk through the piece. Yeah, it's me. I took care of Kaken. How's your side? We found the bomb and we're about to go into the room. Izuku heard Uraraka's voice. Good. I'm on my way, Izuku said as he taps the faceplate and transforms back into human. Ahurk, you think this'll hold me forever, DKU? I'll break out for here and kill you and that little team of yours, and that I'll break that watch of yours, and if I can't break it, I'll take it from you. Bakugo shouted loud enough for Izuku to hear. Izuku's eyes went wide and for a second there, he felt anger boil inside him. He grew up hearing that kind of threats from Bakugo that he doesn't care about it anymore. But he didn't like how Bakugo threatened his friend and cousin like that and to go as far as to proclaim that he'll either break the Omnitrix or take it from him just to stroke his ego. Izuku felt angry but shook his head. He didn't need the emotion to cloud his head now. He need to focus and win. He started to walk away but he stopped and turned to the crystal wall where he saw Bakugu's outline pressing against it. I'd like to see you try, Izuku said with a glare as he starts to run to the other direction to find his teammates. Bakugu was left growling in anger as he knew that he couldn't break out for here. He turns and see the wall and grins. Izuku was running down the hallway of the building. He ran far so he could think. Okay, I caught Kakin. I don't have to worry about him for a while. I need to find the girls and help them out. But I don't know where they are, Izuku thought before stopping. Wait, I know. I'll go Wild Mutt, Izuku said as he turns to the watch and activates it. He scrolls through the selection wheel and stops on who he wants. Please work, Izuku said as he slams down onto the watch and the green flash lit the dark hall. Veins start to appear on Izuku's wrist from the watch and course from it as the watch goes into his body. The veins continue to course up Izuku's arm and spread through his body. The veins reach his face and go to his left eye as he closes it. He opens it again but instead for his normal eye, it's turned completely green. Orange hair started to grow at a rapid rate all over Izuku's body as his eyes and ears started to disappear. His teeth became sharp and his fingernails turned black and grew sharp and his hands turned into paws as he slams it down to the ground. The light dies and Izuku wasn't there. In his place was what appeared to be a large orange dog but it had no eyes, ears, nose, or tail. His posture and movements were somewhat ape-like. His teeth were sticking out of his mouth and were very defined. This dog thing had 3 gill-like lines located on each side of his neck. It wore a green and white collar with the Omnitrix symbol on it. Roar! It roared out loud. Back in the monitoring room. Roar! Whoa, All Might! I thought you say that there was no sound in the video. Mineta shouted. I don't think that was the video, Sato said. What, you mean to tell me that roar we just heard was that loud enough so we can hear it from here? Kaminari said. He couldn't believe that he heard a roar that loud. Yes, students. Young Midoriya is full of surprises. All Might shouted. The kid could have warned me about that roar. That hurts. All Might thought while rubbing his ear. How is that going to help him? He has no ears or eyes. He's blind and deaf in one. Jairu said, pointing out Izuku's missing sensory organs. Yeah, I think he finally messed up on that one, Siro said. They watched Izuku as he looks around and started to jog in a direction. But the direction he was going was... Wait, is he actually going to where the bomb is? Shoji asked. The students turned to where Izuku was and saw that he was indeed going to where the bomb was located as if he knew where it was. But how? The guy's blind and deaf. How's he doing this? Kaminari said. Momo looked at the video image of Izuku running and noticed the black gill-like things on his neck. Sir, if I may? Momo asked with her hand raised. Take it away. I think that Izuku can see and hear with those gill-like appendages on his neck. Momo said as she points to the scene and the students and teacher looked to see the gill-like lines on Izuku's neck opened and closed as he ran. So he can smell them with those. How strong is his sense of smell? Ojiro asked. Oh, that's so manly, Kirishima said with a tear on his eye. Noda. A Vulpamancer is the best at tracking anything with the sense of smell with their nostrils, Mina thought while smiling at the image on Izuku or Wildmutt as he ran. Every good observably skills that young Yaoyorozu. All Might said with a thumbs up to the girl. No, seriously. I've been trying to figure out how does he seize after we fought while he was in that form. All Might thought. Now let's check on the others. All Might said as they turned to the other screens but he looked to one as black smoke was in the halls. Back in the building with Ida. What was that roar? Was that Midoriya? Ida said to no one in particular as he was standing in a clean room with the bomb and was panicking after hearing a primal roar. Calm down. Calm down and think. Bakugu definitely has a villain aside from what we've seen in these past 2 days and I can tell that he has a grudge against Midoriya of some sort. But that's exactly what I need if we are to succeed in this mission. I must temporarily devote myself into criminal temptation. Yes, I won't fail this trail and bring shame onto the Ida name. That means I must embrace evil to become a hero, Ida said before turning to the door. Behold, I am the personification of villainy, Ida shouted to himself in a fake evil voice. The door opens and Ida got ready as Bakugu walked in holding Uraraka with her hands behind her back. Bakugu, where were you and why did you hang up on me? Ida asked to his partner. Relax, nerd. Found her after I went of them. Took her in and decided to bring so her friends can come and rescue her but we'll get the jump on them, Bakugu said as he puts Uraraka down. But what happens if they have a different plan? Ida asked in his evil voice. He's so serious, Uraraka thought with a giggle. Then go get Man and Izzy since you're fast while I just grab the bomb and protect it, Bakugu said as he started to walk to the bomb. Right on. Ida was about to leave the room in pursuit of the heroes when he heard something that Bakugu said. What did he just call Midoriya Izzy? He hasn't called Midoriya anything expects that nickname of his and the only person to call Midoriya by that name is... Ida thought as he remembered what happened in this class and turns to see Bakugu was close to the bomb. Almost there, Bakugu said as he was about to touch the bomb until his instincts told him to duck. Bakugu barely ducked when a leg kicked right over his head. He jumped from Ida who was now in front of the bomb in his fighting stance. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Bakugu shouted. Protecting the bomb from you heroes, Ida said. What are you talking about? Bakugu said. Nice try Bakugu, or should I say, Man-san, Ida said as Bakugu sighed and started to dissolve. How'd you figure out that it was me? Lucy said as she transforms back to herself. When you say Midoriya's name, Bakugu hasn't called Midoriya by anything apart of that nickname he called him to insult him. Ida. Dang it. Just it's my fault, Lucy said. Oh, it's okay, Lucy-san. At least your plan got us here, Uraraka said as she stood up and her hands were moving, showing that they were not tied at all. Yeah. Well, I guess we have to kick it up a notch, Lucy said as she rushes towards Ida as her hand changed shape and color as she slams to where Ida was as the boy dodges the attack. Insert music. My Hero Academia OST. Sento Kuinrin. Combat training. What the? Ida shouts. He turns to see that Lucy's arm was in the form of a hammer and purplish-brown in color. Be careful, Ida. Ida turns back to Lucy, who had a big smile on her face. If you're not, I might get you dirty, Lucy said. Lucy man. Quirk. Sludge body. Her sludge and clay-like body can transform and morph herself into some wicked cool forms and ways. She can transform her limbs to create whips and objects and even mold her body to look like other people. /N. Thank you Zayden Stormvoid, aka the analyst, for providing the quirk explanation. Uraraka, go and touch the bomb so we can end it fast. Right? Uraraka said as she runs to the bomb. Ida sees her and charges to intercept her. Not so fast, hero, Ida said. Uraraka touched her fingers together and jumped. She floated over Ida as Lucy shot water-like blast of mud at Ida. Don't forget about me, Lucy said. Uraraka was close to the bomb as she floated close to it. Release, Uraraka said. Gravity took hold of her again as she falls to the bomb with her arms out. Ida saw that Uraraka was close to the bomb. Exhausts popped out of his legs and he ran. This takes too much out of me, but it'll be worth it when I touch the bomb, Achiko thought. She was about to touch the bomb when it moved. She fell to the ground and rolled until she hit the wall, causing her helmet to fall off. Uraraka, Lucy yelled and ran to her friend. Ida was on the other side of the room with the bomb. Nice try, but your quirk is useless if you can't touch anything. I can easily keep the bomb away from you two until the time runs out. BWA ha 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 ha, Ida said. Lucy was helping her friend up, who looked a bit sick. Are you okay? Lucy asked with Achiko waving her off. I'm fine. A little sore but fine, Uraraka said. The two looked at Ida and started to walk to him slowly. Trying to push numbers against me, heroes? I'd like to see you try, Ida said, getting ready for anything. As the girls were about to jump Ida, the door flies open and in comes a large orange dog, but it had no eyes, ears, nose or tail. Its posture and movements were somewhat ape-like. Its teeth were sticking out of his mouth and were very defined. This dog thing had 3 gill-like lines located on each side of his neck. It wore a green and white collar. What is that? Ida shouted while pointing to the dog thing. Uraraka looks at it and sees the same symbol that Izuku's forms have. Deku? Is that you? Uraraka asked. Izuku smiles and nods as his paw goes to the symbol and taps it. He transforms back to himself. End music. It's over, Ida. You're outnumbered, Izuku said as he walks to his teammates. Where is Bakugu? Ida asked. He's busy at the moment, Izuku bluntly says. He looks at the girls and they nod, sending a silent message. They slowly walk to Ida as he gets into a fighting stance, but he knew that he couldn't win in a 3-on-1 fight. Back in the monitoring room. Wow, Midoriya had it, Sato said. The students saw that Izuku had it to the room where the others were in. Yeah, now this fight's in the hero's favor, Ojiro said. Yes, it looks like this match is over, All Might said, but Tokoyami sees something on screen. Sir, look, he shouted as All Might looks at the screen. Back with the others. I'm all loaded up. The four turned to see Bakugu standing at the door with his right arm raised with the grenade-looking item glowing red for a second. How'd you get out? And what did you mean, all loaded up? Izuku asked, seeing Bakugu out and about. I blasted my way out of the walls in the shitty trap of yours. Why aren't you using that fancy quirk of yours? Don't tell me that you think you've won, Deku? Get over here and show me your full power, Bakugu said with a crazed look on his face. If you think I'm still afraid for you, Izuku started saying as he went to the watch and activated it. Think again, because it's you should be afraid of me now, Izuku said. Bakugu felt insulted by that remark, but he grinned and decided to let his own weapon do the talking. Since you're such a stalker, you should probably know how my awesome quirk explosion works, Bakugu said, aiming his right gauntlet right at Izuku. I secret nitroglycerin-like substance in my sweat from my hands and make it blow up. Imagine what I can do if I had a lot of it, Bakugu said. He pulls the level on the gauntlet as if cocking a gun and a safety pin pops out of it. He positions himself. That's right. These gauntlets aren't just for show. They've been storing up my sweat for one monster blast. Bakugu yells out as he places one finger onto the pin. Wait. Then that means, Kaken, stop. You'll blow the whole room down onto us, Izuku said as he rushes forwards to Bakugu while the selection will span. Back in the monitoring room, All Might heard what Bakugu said and knew what was going to happen. No, he's going to far. Young Bakugu, don't do it. You'll kill them. All Might shouted, which altered the students. No way, Kaminari yelled. Bakugu's going too far. He'll kill them, Kirishima yelled. Why's Midoriya running to him? Run. Get out of there, Sato yelled. Izuku/Midori, Momo and Mina shouted. Back with the others. Nah, I'm just aiming this at Deku and he'll be fine if he dodges. Bakugu shouted as he slowly pulls the pin out. Izuku runs to the gauntlet and slams down to the watch as green flashed in the room. Get down, Lucy shouted as she pulls in Uraraka and Ida as she transforms and grows bigger. Bakugu finally pulls the pin out and the explosion leaves the gauntlet as something started to contain the blast while the light was slowly dying. It did its best to do it, but pop. The explosion still left the gauntlet, but the gauntlet blew up as whatever was containing it caused the blowback of the force and heat from the monster explosion to revert back into the gauntlet and caused it to explode and making Bakugu fly backwards. Back in the monitoring room, the room shook from the aftershock of the explosion by Bakugu's quirk and weapon. They looked around once the vibration and shock form the explosion finished. Whoa, this is nuts, Kirishima yelled. Is everyone alright? Jiru asked. Did Bakugu just kill everyone in that room? Zero yelled. Is Izuku alright? Momo yelled at the symbol of peace. Tell us if he's alright. We saw him run to the gauntlet and did something to it before the explosion happened. Please tell us that he's alive. Mina said. Come in Midoriya. Anyone. All Might yelled for any response. In Nizu's office. That's it. I'm going down there and expelling that kid now. Aizawa said. He got up and was about to walk to training ground. Beta when Nizu held his hand out at him. Calm down Shota and sit down, Nizu calmly said. But sir, Bakugu could have hurt the others? Aizawa said. I know, but we can thank young Izuku for absorbing most of the blow and young Lucy for protecting the students, Nizu said as he takes a sip of his tea. What do you mean, sir? Come and watch. We can discuss more on the topic later, Nizu said. Aizawa went back to his seat and watched the screen as they heard coughing. Back with the others. The explosion from the attack Bakugu released caused the walls to burn and implode and the glass to shatter from the force and the support beams were broken and destroyed from the attack. The bomb fell out of the room and to the street. Bakugu was coughing and walking back to the room after the blast and blowback explosion caused him to fall backwards and hit the wall behind him, leaving a crater. Come on out, Deku. Stop hiding. Bakugu yelled while grabbing his right arm. He looked down and saw that his support item was destroyed by the blowback from whatever was trying to tank the explosion. His arm. It felt burnt and broke. He looked around to find the nerd and finish him off. As the smoke and dust started to settle, the room had green liquid all over the walls and floor. Where'd you go? Ya fucking nerd. Bakugu roared out before something flew by him. The green liquid started to twitch as a floating disc flew to the middle of the destroyed room and started spinning. The green liquid started to gather to the disc, but some went to Bakugu's other gauntlet and took it off him and threw it out the hole from the blast. The disc continued to spin as the liquid started to form and take shape for something. While this was happening, the rocks and bricks from the damaged wall started to move as something was under it started to move apart. Bakugu looked and frozen as something purplish sludge looking being moving out of the pile of bricks. It had 2 mobile whiskers on its cheeks and 2 antennae above its larger eyes and he turns to where the disc was and freezes even more when he saw a pile of green goo in humanoid form with the disc over its head and it only had green eyes. It had the Omnitrix's faceplate on its chest. You guys okay? The sludge sounded like Lucy asked as Uraraka and Ida, who were dirty from her mud and explosion, coughed. Why yeah. Cough thanks? Lucy? Uraraka said but got confused at the sight of the new being. Yeah, it's me. I'm in my full quirk form. I had to go in it to not only survive the blast but also to get you two to safety, Lucy said as she turns to where the green goo was standing. Izzy, you okay? Lucy asked. Yeah, I'm fine. A bit shaken up and dizzy but I'm okay. The green goo, which was Izuku, said in a voice that sounded like it was in water as he nods. The two turn and glare at Bakugu, who started to breath rapidly while the world around him started to go black and fire appeared in his mind. He felt like he was reliving that day 10 months ago. Back in the monitoring room. No freaking way. They survived that blast. Sato yelled in shock. Everyone in the room were surprised and in shock to see the two cousins in similar forms as they were glaring at Bakugu. It must have been Midoriya. He transformed before the blast could be fired and must have somehow blocked it from taking full force, Azui said with her finger on her chin. That would explain the green liquid that was on the floor and walls. It was Midoriya all along. It's almost as if the watch gave him that form to tank the blast, Ojiro said. Look, man changed as well, Siro said as they looked to see that Lucy had changed. I think she did it to tank the blast and protect. Yeah. But she changed into something gross, Mineta said, not finding Lucy's current form not sexy. Look at the face that Midoriya and Man are making. They're mad, Kaminari said. They looked and saw the angry faces on the two changelings. Go Midoriya and Man. You can fight, Kirishima shouted, cheering on the heroes. Momo and Mina were stunned to see their friends were okay. They thought that Izuku was killed from the green goo that was all over the place. They let a sigh in relief. Before, come on Midori. Go Izuku-kun. Kick his ass. Both yelled out and cheered. Back with Izuku and Bakugo. Insert music. My Hero Academia OST. You Say Run. Izuku and Lucy were glaring at Bakugo, who was having a panic attack. I always knew you would do things over the top. But this takes the cake. Izuku growled out, clearly pissed that Bakugo would pull something like this. He saw that Bakugo wasn't moving at all. Lucy noticed as well and decided to piss him. Oh, you shocked to see us still alive. Ha, and I guess I was right about you. You're nothing but a big bully. Lucy shouted. Her shouting brought Bakugo back to his senses. He turned to Lucy and starts to get mad. You, Baku said, his hands started to crackle with explosions. Me what? You bitch. Bakugo yelled as he rushes towards Lucy. He was close when something grabbed him. He looks back and sees a green trail of goo stuck to him. Izuku's eyes indicated that he was really pissed as green lighting surged around him. Don't you lay a finger on her, Bakugo, Izuku said as he stretches himself and used this newfound strength to hail Bakugo out the room through the door and into the halls. Lucy, Uraraka, finish this. I'll keep Kakin busy, Izuku yelled as he ran out the room. Okay / got it, the two said. They looked around to see where the bomb, but saw that it wasn't in the room. Hey, where's the weapon? Uraraka asked. They looked for it until Lucy looked down and saw it. It's there, Lucy said as she points to it. Ida and Uraraka look down to the ground and see the bomb laying on the street. They look at each other until Ida bolted out the room and headed down the stairs to go to the bomb. He's going to the bomb, Uraraka shouted. Lucy reverted back to her human form and stretched her hand. Quick! Make me float, Lucy said as Uraraka stretched her hand to hear. Bakugo was rolling to the ground after Izuku threw him out of the room. What the? He said as he looked up and saw a green trail of goo rushing towards him. He saw the green goo change into a dark shade of green with egg-shaped eyeballs and teeth as fire followed him. Bakugo put his hands forwards and started to blast explosions at it, but the green goo dodged them with the help of the flying disc. The disc flew over Bakugo's head and past him as the goo hit him and started to stick to him as it shot out green shreds of itself and stuck to the wall. The disc hovered over Bakugo and he notices it. It lowers itself to the goo and a head with green eyes popped out with the disc floating over it. Its eyes were narrowed and looking straight to Bakugo's face. You've got some nerve, Kakin. What were you thinking? Izuku asked angrily. I wanted to put you in your place. Bakugo shouted at the face made out of goo. My place? And that's where? Izuku asked, confused. Under my feet, Bakugo said. What? You heard me. Under my feet. You're Corcus and that makes you useless. Just because you got some watch that turns you into freaks, you think that you're hot shit. I don't think so. So, it's make job to remain you that you are useless. You were always useless and that you'll always be useless, Deku. Bakugo yelled. Izuku looked at him for a bit. My god. You're so full of yourself that you think that you're the best, Izuku said, shocked by his childhood friend's words. I don't think that I'm the best. I am the best, Bakugo said as Izuku stretched a ball of goo far from him as green lighting surged around it. Then best this, Izuku shouted as the ball shot forwards and hits Bakugo square in the head, knocking him out. Izuku sighed as he let go for Bakugo and tapped the Omnitrix and reverts back to human form. Oh man, that was intense, Izuku said as the alarm went off. The bomb has been captured, All Might said as he saw Lucy and Uraraka floating in the air outside the building with Lucy's arms stretched and touching the bomb as Ida exited the building. You did it, All Might said to himself. The hero team wins. And that's a wrap on part 7, folks. If you haven't seen the earlier parts yet, make sure to visit the playlist. A huge shout out to the author, don't forget to show your support. I'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in.